There is a massive problem with the camera industry, and it might not be what you're thinking. Let me explain. It's been quite a few weeks since I got out just to take photos for myself, just to enjoy taking photos and make a video. And it's something that I like to try and do as often as I can. So this weekend I thought I would just take myself out and go and take photos. It doesn't matter if I got anything worthwhile, any decent photos, and I didn't actually get any good photos, but that's okay because that's what photography is all about. It's about enjoying the process more than the results. How nice is this around here? Proper northern English village. So nice. This is a place called Great Budworth, which has been used in quite a few TV dramas over the years. I'm not sure which ones, but you can see why, can't you? It's a little bit of a shame about that blue Mercedes. I wish it was like a nice classic car to fit the scene a little bit better, but can't get everything. Also, I do wish the conditions were slightly better, but still, it's nice to be out. Hello. Hello, you okay? I seem to have ended up in the middle of a field where I don't have a clue where I am at all. And I'm not really dressed appropriately either in my white trainers, my chinos. But that being said, I think this is exactly what I needed today. Just to get out and explore and just enjoy taking photos for the fun of it, because it's something I've been thinking about quite a lot recently. And that is where this problem comes in. And it's something that has been growing for quite a while now, but it feels like it's got considerably worse over the last 12 months or so. And I don't think it's necessarily down to camera brands themselves. I think it's us, the consumers, the ones that are using the gear, the ones that have all of this incredible gear available to us. It's our fault. But every time now that a new camera is released, it feels like the very first thing that people are looking for is the faults in that camera. This camera's not got a viewfinder. This camera only shoots 420, not 422 10-bit colour. This one's not got a mechanical shutter. This one's got a crop in 4K 60. Therefore, these cameras aren't very good. And I don't know about you, but I'm getting just a little bit bored and a little bit tired of it. And I find it, to be honest, quite uninspiring because, let's be honest, every camera that comes out now is incredible. Even the cameras in your phone are capable of some seriously impressive things. There is no need to start nitpicking for things and turning them into problems that don't actually exist. And if one camera doesn't have something that you need, you can then just go and choose another camera that does have that feature that you need, and then that camera will suit you better. That doesn't make this camera rubbish, it just means that this one suits you better. That one will suit someone else. The tech that we have available to us now is actually insane, and even if you look back maybe just 5 or 10 years, you can see how quickly things progress and move on, and new things are being introduced all of the time. And the most relatable thing at the moment as to how quickly things are moving would be AI. But my point is that that is the same with cameras. New cameras are being released all the time, and not all cameras are created equal. They all appeal to different people who all have different needs. So if one camera doesn't have an EVF, or it's got a crop in 4K 60, or it's not got a mechanical shutter, that doesn't make these cameras poor. I genuinely think that we are so spoilt with everything that we have that we have forgotten how to appreciate everything that we have available to us, and how easy it is now as photographers, videographers, to be able to go and tell stories, or just to be able to create the things that you want to create. And that is the key at the end of the day, creativity. We all need to remember that a camera is just a tool to be able to help you do your job, to be able to help tell stories, to be able to help create something. And the only thing that truly matters is your creativity and your ability to keep learning and developing new skills and techniques. And that could mean literally anything entirely. It could be learning a new genre of photography, shooting in entirely different locations to what you are used to, messing around with new lighting setups, maybe going out and limiting the gear you're using and challenging yourself that way, or maybe getting in front of the camera and learning how to talk to a camera because you've always been behind the camera. Learning to talk to a camera is a good skill to have. So that might be something that you want to learn. There is so much more that goes into all of this than just the gear you use or just the camera you use. That does slightly get us into the whole does gear matter argument, which is one thing that I really want to avoid in this video, because yes, gear does matter to a certain point. However, it is not the only factor that goes into improving your work. And there are other things that can have a far greater impact on it. And thinking too much about the gear you are using can actually be holding you back. Too much emphasis is put on the gear. And if you're not using the latest and greatest camera, the latest lens, then your work isn't going to be good enough. That could not be further from the truth. I realise that saying all of this, I am in quite a privileged position where I get to test new cameras from Lumix and play around with new pieces of gear and meet incredible people from all over the world at press events, and it is a lot of fun and I absolutely love it. I never ever thought I would have the opportunity to be able to do things like that. However, opportunities like that have come through a hell of a lot of hard work over the years and using the gear that I had available to me at the time. I started this YouTube channel over 5 years ago with just my phone, and then I got the original DJI Pocket, and it didn't have a screen on it. You had to actually plug it into your phone and it hung off the side of your phone. But then over time I outgrew that and I knew that I wanted to start challenging myself in different ways, and because you had to plug it into your phone to be able to see what you were doing, it was just a little bit of a hassle. So I got myself a Canon DSLR with a cropped sensor, and that was great for me at the time. It was cheap, I only had the kit lens for it. But that was how I learned. That was how I started to develop my skills as a photographer and a videographer. And looking back now, even though it was only 5 or 6 years ago, which isn't really anything to be honest, that camera was nowhere near top of the range. It was cheap, like I said. The kit lens just felt like it was falling to pieces, but it did a job for me. And that was exactly what I needed at the time, because it allowed me to learn and grow and develop as a photographer and videographer. And you'll be surprised as to just having a piece of kit that can do the job will go even when you are working professionally as a photographer and videographer as well, if that's the road you wanted to go down. You don't need the latest and greatest pieces of kit that you see on YouTube to be able to start out, and you don't need the latest and greatest to be able to run a successful business either. I think we all just need to go back to remembering that a camera is just a tool. It is a tool to be able to help you tell your stories. And I think we've all forgotten that a little bit. In fact, I think we've forgotten that quite a lot, if I'm honest. I think that that is only going to become an even more important thing to remember the more that things like AI start to become even more mainstream than they already are. But that is for a whole other video, because that is a can of worms that I really don't want to open right now. But I think we just need to get back to creating for the love of it, telling stories because you enjoy it, and just creating stuff that means something. That is way more important than arguing about which camera you should be using or which one you should purchase next because that's got better features than that one. Because at the end of the day, that really doesn't matter. That's personal preference, but you can use any camera to be able to do what you want to do. Anyway, that's my little bit of a rant over for now. Let me know your thoughts in the comments, and I'll see you in the next one.